Hey, welcome back to another edition, a segment of Canadian Bacon for week ending August the 13th, 2023. It's been a crazy week in the markets up until August the 11th, the Friday. Let's take a little peek of, start with the news. Once again, on Canadian Bacon segment, we only trade Canadian stocks. But we look at the American markets, and that's what we're going to be doing today, to get a good feeling and a good read of what's going on in the Canadian markets. So let's quickly move to the news. I did notice 2 days ago, Versace owner Capri agrees to an $8.5 billion buyout by Tapestry, right? And stocks surges 55%. Another notable was 3 days ago. Disney stocks jumped 2% as CEO Bob Iger vows to crack down on password sharing. 4 days ago, Rivian picks up a $1.1 billion revenue and boosts the forecast. Moving down to more current news, about 2 hours ago, this being August the 13th, 2023. Horizon Therapeutics, Activision among best bets for M&A deals to close. Sluggish U.S. earnings may need a pick-me-up to support 2023 stock rally. Texas sues Shell over massive fire at Houston chemical plant. A gold mine of income, 3 must-have dividend stocks. You can see those on your screen. Largest U.S. pension bought up by Roblox stock. So that's the largest U.S. pension bought up the Roblox right before it tanked. And that's an interesting story. You may want to read more on that. Just Google that and check that out. That's very interesting reading. Carl's down, 87-year-old billionaire. I think his company was 16 billion net worth. Now it's worth 8. He's got a son running it. Things are a mess over there. Check that story out. Restaurants and supermarkets are brawling over your dollar. It's a very interesting story. Just quickly, grocery chains are revamping prepared meals in delis and buffets, expanding menus and offering more discounts, seeing a chance to woo diners away from restaurants. Very interesting reading on that one. Also, just a couple more. U.S. grid operators warn EPA proposal could cause significant power shortages. And last but not least, PayPal makes bold move into stablecoin payments as adoption headwinds loom. Moving to our heat map, this is finishing the day on August the 11th, 2023. Banks look neutral over here. I love the Bank of Nova Scotia, as you may have heard before. National Bank's okay. Royal, always a good dividend. TD, your core, in your banks. Jot a couple of those down, just watch them. They are expensive, but they pay the dividend and everything, so they're worth checking out. One of my favorites these days is that CP, right? Canadian Pacific, Kansas City. Look at it, it has room to grow. It's trading at $109.18 as of Friday, August the 11th. So there's a lot of room for growth, I believe, in the Kansas City CP. Moving down, your Rogers, TELUS, pretty neutral on the day. Dollarama, Nutrien, and last week was kind of a hectic week. Things are going down, so watch yourself. Be very careful this next week, trading August the 14th on Monday. I wouldn't run and gun. I would just watch the markets. Things look pretty unstable, but we'll get to that in a minute. So that's what's looking on the heat map and the retail trade and non-energy minerals. And keep your eyes out. Railroad, Shopify, maybe Dollarama. These are Canadian once again. And look at this Magna. It's down a little bit. It may have some room to grow. It was trading at a top at $89.67 back in February. Now it's at $77, $77 Canadian. so it has some room. That's worth checking out. Moving onwards, though, we got a stock screen, and this is from the Friday's date of August the 11th. So these are shares, and my criteria was $8 to $122 a share. Technical was strong buy, and volume was at least 100,000 on the volume. As of Friday, moving into next week on August the 14th, Toromont Industries look good. National Bank of Canada, Stantec, TD, Onyx, right? Onyx was a strong buy. Once again, all these are strong buys, rated technically as strong buys. Onyx, that's worth a look at. Vanguard, let's take a look. If it doesn't crash, Vanguard, that's a trust. So that's on the TSX. That's worth looking into. Jot that one down. That's on our hit list. Stella Jones, Stella Jones, strong buy. Trading at $68.10, up $1.08 on Friday, right? Stella, jot that one down. That one, whoa, it's moving up and down like that. But over the last 6 months, check that out, Up 40.15%. Stella Jones, year to date, 39.49% year to date on the Stella. So that I like that, looking like at the Stella. So those are our movers on the heat map. On the heat map, and also on our stock screener. So leading the way, of course, was Toromont, Horizons, and National Bank. Down a little bit, you have your SNC Lavalin, and we have 61 matches in for the strong buy criteria. Pizza is actually in there too. Well, it's a strong buy, up 57 cents. Pizza trading at $15.20 a share, and it's listed as a strong buy. These are from Friday. NFI's one on my hit list, up 24 cents. And those are Cineplex, look at that, up 45 cents. I like Cineplex. And let's take a look at Cineplex. Trading at $9.33 a share, up 45 cents on Friday, up 5%. I like that. Look at, and that's year to date. Not huge, not a home run, not a Jose Bautista kind of thing, but up 15.61% year to date, 6 months, 7.86%. That's on the Cineplex. On the large cap end of things, those are our stock screeners done, right, for our hit list. On the large cap, on the Canadian stock market, got the big boys always there, the Royal Bank. Jot a couple of these down if you're new to the Canadian market. TD Bank, look at CNR, the Canadian National, and the CP Kansas City, I told you, right? Up 5.43%. I think that's over the year. Enbridge is there. Canadian Natural Resources, Bank of Montreal, Bank of Nova Scotia, Suncor is there, BCE, Canadian Imperial Bank, TC Energy, Manulife, and Nutrien, all heavy hitters. The strong buys were, of course, if you can get it, $2,700 a share is Constellation Software and Thomson Reuters. And let's move to the top gainers for the week. SK Mining Corp on the top. These for any, let's go to the strong buys. MDA Limited, $10.42 a share, up $1.98 for the day. Very nice, MDA. Another strong buy, Fireweed Metals and Altus Group Limited, Centerras, West Dome Gold Mines, there's your gold, AG Growth, and Cartier Silver Corporation, another strong buy. It's only 87 cents a share, but it's up 11%. And that's our top gainers for the Canadian stock market for the week ending August the 11th. That's our screeners. And moving on to our, I have to do this in this strange way. I don't have a tab open for our economic calendar. And on our economic calendar today, it looks like we only have on August the 14th, tomorrow, in Canada, a senior loan officer survey, which is a kind of an interesting. It's in Canada. It's a benchmark interest rate set by the Bank of Canada Governing Council. Its impact is medium to little in that. Anything else on August the 13th? That's today, Sunday, New Zealand. Tomorrow's Germany, Turkey, France, Canada, as I mentioned. United States has the consumer inflation expectations. Japan has the GDP, capital expenditure. France, Assumption of Mary. Australia, and back to Japan. And then we're to the 15th, and nothing down the chart. As I mentioned to you last week, you got the core inflation rate on the 15th of August. So that's what we're looking at for that. Moving onwards, though, on the TSX last week, as you can see, it moved up a little bit. Going to go through our heavy hitters, our main profile, part of the Magnificent Seven from the United States, capitalizing on Canadian stocks for your pleasure and information. The S&P 500 is down over the week. This is a 5-day from the 9th of August up until the 14th. Some of the hitters I like, as I've mentioned to you, is Apple. It's been a rough week in the markets in the tech industry. So I'm just going to give you a quick overlay. Once again, I would load your gun, but maybe just hold before you start the firing on Monday. Give markets it's been really a hacksaw of a movement up and down, as you can see on my chart. There's our American 177, and the Canadian Apple was up a penny on the Friday at $26.56. I like that Apple. That's on the Neo. We have the AMD moving down over 5 days. It's down, took a real big hit on Friday morning at around 9:40, and then back up. As you can see, it's hacksawing too. The Canadian counterpart, AMD, trading at $20.83, down 56 cents for the day. NVIDIA, oh, look at that, eh? It's a sad sack, eh? It's one of my favorites, but it's just moving downwards. These techs are moving downwards. That's the Canadian. The American, trading at $408.55. Friday, down $15.33, or 3.62%. So it wasn't a pretty sight. Intel, that's the Canadian, trading at $20.83. And the American counterpart at $34.89. Sawing up in the aftermarket, as you may see right here. The aftermarket is stable and consolidating. Moved up on Friday until about 4 p.m. on Friday, and is stabilized. Intel, or Microsoft rather, that's the Canadian, at $23.85, down 19 cents for the day. I lost my Canadian one there, but I'll get that back. Meta in the U.S., $301.64, down $4 for the day. And my Canadian one that I trade, down 27 cents, trading at $17.07. Keep an eye out for Meta next week, especially on the Canadian aspect of it. We have our Amazon. It's down for the day. US was 138.41. Up and down, but ended up down about 15 cents. My Canadian stock at $16.79. It's moving the same areas as the American ones, and it was down just 3 cents for the day. Google, get your Google. Google. And it's hacksawing once again for the Friday. And it was down only 4 cents for the day. A lot of movement back to neutral. Same with the Canadian counterpart at $22.05. That's the Google. And almost coming to the end of my hit parade was Netflix, trading at 421.66 US. But the Canadian stock that I trade, down 31 cents on the Friday. Netflix, jot that down. Netflix, NFLX on the Neo Canadian hedged. One of the bad boys that's giving me heartburn these days is Tesla. This is the American at 242.65, down 269 for the day at 1.1%. And my Canadian counterpart on the Tesla, down 28 cents for the day at $22.65. Going quickly, we got the MasterCard and the Visa. They're down. As you can see my chart, it was a lot of redness. There's a lot of red in the afternoon for the Friday. But let's move to Sleep Country. They had an earnings report. Sleep Country, down 63 cents for the day. They had their earnings report right here on Thursday, August the 10th. And as you may see, surprise, there's a surprise. Down 3.34%, or a negative $7 million on the financials. Not looking good. Sleep Country, Canada Holdings. It's one of the ones I liked. The dividends, 3.75%. As you can see, P&E, 7.62 versus 2021's 15.76, and 2020, 15.47. So you can see what's going on in that. Revenue conversion, performance, you can see revenues up 928 versus 2021. Profit margins 11.9% versus 9.63%. Revenue breakdown, and 2022 dividends 3.66, and that's what we're looking at for Sleep Country. I think it's one that's worth looking at, jotting down, is the Sleep Country. So I didn't say buy it, I just keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes on your fries on the Sleep Country. Another one that I like is Leon's, and they had their earnings. Let's take a quick peek at Leon's. Whoa. Spaghetti-O, because we're looking at a surprise of minus $18.15 million, or a drop 2.97%. So that's the earnings on negative earnings. Let's take a look at the financials for them. Dividend 3.23% on Leon's Furniture, and they're moving down. P&E 6.53 versus 9.48 in 2021. Total revenue 2.52 billion. Revenue, as I mentioned, 2.52, but profit margin 7.13%. Leon's got a little homework, but I don't know. I think it's going to be just fine for them, right? Financial health over here, cash and equivalent got 115 million. Debt 557 over there. The year 2021 debt was 456. So these are charts that are worth looking into. And there's your Leon's Furniture. I would jot that one down and keep your eyes on the Leon's Furniture. We have Shopify on the Canadian market. Wanna Shopify? Watch yourself on Shopify. As I mentioned the other day, this thing can punch you right in the face if you don't watch yourself. It just very dangerous stock. As you can see, look at it. Look at saws up, saws down. Very interesting stock. I'm going to split this one just real quick to show you. That's the Canadian side over here, and over here we have the American side for Shopify. The reason why I'm showing you these two guys is that they're very similar, as you may not see there. So I like to piggyback on the Shopify, the American one. A little more volume than the Canadian one, but very interesting company. Something to note, I would jot that down and take a peek at Shopify next week, right? This is a stock that quite a few of my friends scalp on a Monday morning, Tuesday morning, and so you're looking at Shopify. Probably, maybe not a long hold. Maybe it is in there. It's up to you. But it has a lot of action, a lot of volatility. Good idea. TD Banks, moving to the banks. Got the banks. Got the Royal Bank. TD is one of my favorite. Royal is down and consolidated from the 11th to the 14th. You can see a lot of consolidation. Laurentian, and then moving down to Dollarama, my Dollarama. I got a dotted line here. That's a major support and resistance line in there. And Dollarama seems to be kicking around that thing. Jot that one down, Dollarama. It's give me a few body blows, as I mentioned too. And also you can take a fishing trip on this Dollarama if you cash in nicely. So be not wary, be careful with that. Get your hot dogs. Always Maple Leaf Foods, moving down a little bit on the 11th. Oh, a decrease of 40 cents, but it moves up and down. It's worth looking at. And Walmart, and that's the Canadian on the NEO, Canadian hedged. Air Canada, look at the Air Canada, and they had their earnings report on Friday, August the 11th. Surprise! 268 million, up 5.2%, as you can see in the growth in there. Of course, I'm looking backwards. I didn't grab the Air Canada. Woof! Story of my life. Profit margins down 10% for 2022. Earnings, oh, there we go, 1.61. That's for February. In the cash and equivalents, that's 16 million. It's around the same in 2021 and 2022. Long term, it's looking okay. Liabilities and assets. So that's your Air Canada. I would look at Air Canada. Like I said, earlier shows, not a lot of volatility and volume, but a good stock to watch out. Could have some really nice days. Good to swing trade sometimes, and day trade if you like. Got the pizza. I think the pizza. Look at the pizza cutting up on the 11th. Really nice. And of course, my one of my favorites is the Amazon yield shares. We don't have anything else to note today. Canadian Tire, as I mentioned to you, you can see it on your screen right there. That's not a really happy ending yet for Canadian Tire. It'll recover, but retail's taking a real kicking these days. I don't show really anything else outstanding. There's that Rivian, that's the American one. How do our market look? I don't know how the market's going to look on Monday. I would just hands off. Don't put your foot on the gas too hard, right? And don't put the brakes on. Just sort of coast for Monday as usual Mondays. We'll check in with you on Tuesday to see what's going on in the Canadian markets. I appreciate your time today. And thank you for joining us at Canadian Bacon, the weekend segment. So we're just looking at kind of an unstable market as a summation, and something you just want to keep your eyes open and be prepared to trade, and just keep your eyes on your fries. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great trading day and a great week, and we look forward to being with you again. Have a nice day.